It's time to Let's Talk. They just put out a basically a mission statement for the next year, trying to get the next gen version out, and also updates and just making Cyberpunk run overall on last gen systems and this, and of course the yellow is going to destroy my green screen. So I have not listened to this. I don't exactly know what they're going to be saying. I am going to be pausing this in the middle of the video, here and there, just to comment for a split second on it. But this is going to be very interesting to say the least. Let's check out. So this is an apology, a mission statement, and also a roadmap to all the stuff that they're going to be doing with Cyberpunk 2077 going forward and over the next year. Let's see.
Hey everyone, my name is Marcin Iwiński and I'm the co-founder of CDPR.
Very loud.
When I started CDPR 25 years ago, one of its founding principles was honest and direct communication with gamers. When CDPR Red, the game development part of CDPR, was born, it added something important to that principle, the ambition to make the best games in the world. It became our mission and something that guided us up until now. Based on that legacy of genuine and honest communication, you've trusted us and pre-ordered our game. And despite good reviews on PC, the console version of CyberPunk 2077 did not meet the quality standard we wanted it to meet.
With the exception of next gen, because it actually, Cyberpunk, I totally finished it. You can literally watch on stream archive VODs of me actually getting through and finishing Cyberpunk with relative ease, that I have finished it on the PS5. It ran decent with a lot of hiccups, meaning that the game crashed a lot, but when it was running decent. Of course, you had stuff kind of floating here and there and whatnot, but it was doable, and the story was complete and everything. So what he's mainly talking about is everybody bitching about last gen consoles of the PS4, the Xbox One, and such, which those were, to my knowledge, were absolutely broken. But the PC and the next gen versions, they at least ran. It's just Cyberpunk is not optimized very well, so they would crash a lot. Anyways,
I and the entire leadership team are deeply sorry for this, and this video is me publicly owning up to that. Please don't fault any of our teams for what happened. They all are incredibly talented and hardworking. Myself and the board are the final decision makers, and it was our call to release the game.
oh,
Although, believe me, we never ever intended for anything like this to happen. I assure you that we'll do our best to regain your trust. Now I'd like to tell you how the situation looked like from the inside. Cyberpunk 2077 is huge in scope. And I'm not only talking about quests or things you see at first glance. I'm talking about a multitude of custom objects, interacting systems, and mechanics. In the game, everything is not stretched out over flat terrain where we can make things less taxing hardware-wise, but condensed in one big city and in a relatively loading-free environment. On its own,
right there, a relatively loading-free environment, plus the lighting, all the garbage that's on the ground, the civilians walking around, the shootouts that are happening while you're driving around, the vehicles that are driving around you. Hell, there's animals, they're running around here and there, like little cats running around here and there. It's trying to spawn loot on top of AI, on top of clutter and litter that you can actually destroy and move around and everything. It's not just hard baked into the map. It's literally rendering on the fly, all this stuff. And you wonder why it's not working on last gen. With that size of a map, with that engine, and I'm not going to give it a pass either, because we have seen the same level of detail and the same level of objects and everything in something like a Red Dead Redemption 2. That looks actually probably 4 times better than Cyberpunk, and it runs just fine, with the occasional hiccup here and there. But it runs pretty much just fine. You can play through it, no problem. Especially on the PS5, it actually has shorter load times, and it keeps a steady frame rate.
this is a challenge. But we made it even more difficult for ourselves by wanting to make the game look epic on PCs and then adjusting it to consoles, especially old gens. That was our core assumption. And things did not look super difficult at first. We knew the hardware gap, yes, but ultimately, I think that time has proven that we've underestimated the task.
On older consoles that are like damn near 11 years old, and I don't know where people are getting 8 years old when they were in development for 2 years, 3 years before that. It's 11-year-old hardware that you're running on for the PS4 and the Xbox One. There's a reason why we have a next gen out or a current gen out now. That's the reason why it's that the PS4 and Xbox One is last gen hardware. They're old hardware.
To give a concrete example and the main culprit, we had to constantly improve our in-game streaming system for all gen consoles. Streaming is responsible for feeding the engine with what you see on screen, as well as the game mechanics. And since the city is so packed and the disk bandwidth of all gens is what it is, it constantly challenged us.
Yep.
Every change and improvement needed to be tested, and as it turned out, our testing did not show a big part of the issues you experience while playing the game. As we got closer to the final release, we saw significant improvements each and every day, and we really believed we would deliver in the final Day Zero update. Now let's talk about the review process.
That's how can you not see that a PS4 there's a reason why consoles are made the way that they are, because every console has the exact same hardware. How in the hell could you not see that you're gonna have like the data streaming holdback and the chokehold on the game engine was not there? How the hell could you not see that? That's the point of having a console, and it's the same hardware. Everybody has the same hardware. You're going to, like, there's somebody testing it on a baseline PS4, a PS4 Pro, an Xbox One, an Xbox One S, an Xbox One X, and also PS5 and Series S, Series X. Why the fuck does Xbox have so many consoles? My God. But they're also testing it on the Switch. They're testing it on, I mean, they're probably even testing a mobile version for a phone. You don't test on consoles and not see that there's a problem like that. That's some bullshit what you're saying right there. But if they were seeing significant increases on like being able to stream data to the point where that they could, you know, rough estimate ship it and then do like a day one patch, I can see that. But that very first statement right there was absolutely bullshit. That was him trying to cover the company's ass. Then he's saying what actually happened with the patch updates. Oh, we thought we can maybe, you know, bottleneck the game engine into working. Even that is kind of bullshit too, because you would be able to know it right off the bat whether or not the game engine can support the older platforms. The first thing that I said, if you go back and watch my Let's Talk videos from back when this game was first being shown off on current and next gen hardware, trying to fix it in the next 5 years, basically it's a Witcher situation all over again. But the first thing that I said, and even the people in chat right now, I know at least one of them can attest this. I said no, they should drop the current gen at the time, which was the PS4, Xbox One. They should drop those versions, just making the next gen title, PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. I think even at the time when I said it, it was still Project. What the hell is it called? No, not Project Infinity or whatever the hell the Xbox was called at the time. I think I said it back then before the Series X was actually named.
We started sending our PC review keys in the first days of December. On launch day, December 10th, we hit the ground running with a really good start on PC. While not perfect, it's a version of CyberPunk we are very proud of.
Well, of course you hit the ground running on PC. Guess what? Because PCs have unlimited fucking space to do stuff with.
At the same time, we're fighting for quality on all gen consoles till the very last moment. And every extra day of us working on the Day Zero update brought visible improvement. This is why we started sending console review keys on the 8th of December, which was later than we originally planned.
Okay, so what that's telling me is that they had already put out the marketing, they already put out the thing of like, we have gone gold. So when we saw because we saw a tweet that went out saying Cyberpunk has gone gold on all platforms, including console and PC. It's going to be shipping on 8 platforms all at once. As soon as they put that marketing out there, they were locked in, they were fucked. That's what that's meaning right there. They jumped the gun on saying that it's ready to go because they had already pushed it back so many times. They were probably really worried that if they put out the next gen version and PC version first, they were going to lose a shit ton of sales. So they said the hell and they just went for it. And it blew up in their face majorly.
This all happened while working from home with all the challenges resulting from the COVID-related restrictions. A lot of the dynamics we normally take for granted got lost over video calls or email, and we took that hit too. Now I'd like to tell you about our plans for the future and present a path for CyberPunk 2077 on.
Okay, just before they get into this path though, so let's see here. The first 6 months of COVID would have been them finishing up production, which would have been the start of bug testing and everything. The last 6 months is bug testing and making sure that the gold status can hold. So roughly half of the pandemic was them literally bug fixing. If they have a normal timeline on the schedule of this. Now, granted, this game has not been actually in development for 10 years or whatever the hell, or 8 years or whatever it was. This game has only been in development for 4. Keanu Reeves literally let the cat out of the bag in an interview saying that only like 2 years ago did he start actually recording stuff for Johnny Silverhand. He only got the contract like 2 years ago for Johnny Silverhand, which means he wasn't even working on the game until a couple of years ago. Back in like 2018, I think it was. Yeah, that's the development on this. It's not really another Anthem. Like people are trying to say it's another Anthem. No, Anthem had way less time than that to even work on. BioWare, they shipped the game out of their asshole basically with Anthem. Cyberpunk had a regular set schedule of 4 years. Most game companies only get 4 years. Rockstar is probably one of the few companies that can take like 10 years to make something new. And they get the backing of it because their games sell so damn well. This still did not take as big of a hit as like Avengers did, because even when everybody was asking for refunds, it still made, I think it was like, I think they sold like 50 million copies, even while you had that small percentage ask for refunds, they still sold a shit ton. So they have made their money on this game almost tenfold.
Consoles and PC. We have already released 3 hotfixes improving the game, but that's just the beginning. Our ultimate goal is to fix the bugs and crashes gamers are experiencing across platforms. Please expect bigger and smaller patches on a regular basis. The first update will be dropping within 10 days, and it will be followed by another, more significant one in the following weeks. We will, of course, continue to work on the game in future updates and improvements beyond that. Our big plans for supporting Cyberpunk in the long term did not change. As for the free DLCs, our initial plan was to deliver them just after the release, much like we did with The Witcher 3.
So, hotfix, we've already gotten these. Now we're into here. So patch 1.1, patch 1.2. So these are going to be very small patches and then multiple updates and improvements. So if they had any inkling of doing like maybe a co-op update, you're never seeing that. It's just, that's done. That's canceled. I can guarantee you right now that these patch updates are going to be stability improvements, visual improvements, free next gen this is going to be a very interesting one to see for a free next gen console. The free DLC they've already been working on beforehand, so they had probably a smaller team that got dedicated to making the DLCs to keep people interested throughout all these updates to go, oh, guess what? Just like The Witcher, this game is going to be a lot better in the long run.
Decided to focus on the most important fixes and updates first, and we'll be releasing the DLCs afterwards. Expect more information in the upcoming months. For those of you playing on next-gen consoles in back compatibility, you can still expect the free next-gen update for Xbox Series consoles and PlayStation 5 arriving in 2021.
You better fucking believe
I am.
We are aiming
at the second half of the year. I'd like to end this video by assuring you that we treat this entire situation very seriously and are working hard to make it right. The guiding principles of our company are still core to what we do. We still want to make amazing games and have an open communication with you, our players. For now, our immediate focus is to work hard on making sure you enjoy Cyberpunk 2077 regardless of platform. Beyond Cyberpunk, we have many plans for the future, which we'll share more about when we're ready. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.
They're not even going to tell us what the next gen update is about. Is it ray tracing? Is it going to be higher frame rates for consoles? Can they even work with haptics feedback at this time? Triggers and all that stuff for the PS5. So what I would say to all that is they know they screwed up. They know they shipped a game that they shouldn't have. They tried to brute force through and get it done. It didn't work. It blew up in their face. They know it. I think The Witcher 3 also had the exact same thing happen there. They shoot higher. I guess that's a CDPR thing. They shoot higher than what they can actually, hit. And, they aim for the moon and they can only hit maybe, the atmosphere. Is it going to get better? Absolutely. Are they going to keep working on this? Absolutely. This is going to be their pet project for the next 10 years or so, whatever. I don't think you're ever going to see a Witcher game anytime soon. That's the least thing that they're going to be focused on or thinking about. Cyberpunk is going to be around for a long time. No matter how much people try and sweep it underneath the rug, how much they get pissed off about it or whatever, it's going to be there. You're going to hear about it. And maybe next year after, it's going to be game of the year. That's just the reality of the situation. Them blaming everything on COVID, I think is kind of like the scapegoat that all these companies, if anybody puts out a game that does not hit the expectations, that's their a scapegoat for everything. Is that COVID, pandemic, work from home. I mean, in all honesty, sure. Working from home, it's not the office. It's not as convenient and everything. I take nothing away from anybody that's working from home. But to solely blame it on that when they absolutely have tested it on older consoles and know that it's not going to work, that's just bullshit trying to blame it on the pandemic. You guys already knew that it was not going to happen on the older gen consoles. What you should have done is put out a press statement saying it is not working on older gen consoles. This is now going to be a next gen launch and PC exclusive. If people get pissed off, that's on them. You're actually doing the right thing by pissing them off with that of just whatever sales you think you're going to lose, you're going to get them right back afterwards. So, yeah, that's my word. That's my final word on Cyberpunk. I'll come back to it. I'll probably do more when that next gen upgrade comes out. That's the next time you'll see it on any of my channels. I'm not boycotting it. I'm not giving it, I'm not dropping it because it's bad or whatever, or because the social trend is saying it. There's just other games coming out, so it's time to move on from it. I had fun with it for what it was. I liked the story for what it was. It was interesting. It was fun. Multiple endings at the end of it and everything. That was really cool. Actually, wait, no, I did stream it, didn't I? I can't even remember if I streamed it or not. I wasn't going to stream it. I might have streamed the ending of it. I actually can't remember. Anyways, so yeah, Cyberpunk. Like I said, I'll come back to it. Anyways, since this is for YouTube, and I am live streaming right now, it's going to sound really weird on live stream, but go and check out everything over on Twitch. I am actually doing this live on Twitch right now, twitch.tv/werewolf. And for all the other videos, to go around and check the YouTube channel. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see ya next time.